25. This is the Arlington County Board of Equalization hearing. There are 6 cases on the agenda and 5 board members present. Mr. Hoffman does have a conflict on the cases 2 through 6, so will not be participating. The first case, RPC 14045-003. I believe there's an agent online, and Ms. Shuttlesworth. I'm understanding that as of this morning, there was a request to withdraw the case. Is that in fact the case?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right, and no objection, Ms. Shuttlesworth?
No objections.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then I will move to accept the withdrawal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Penaranda is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed. Okay, so that is unanimous. That case is withdrawn.
Thank
All
you.
right, both. All right, so do we have Mr. Warren or Mr. Colorito on and Mr. Lucas? There we go. We have Mr. Warren. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay, so the next case is RPC 34020-245 at 2345 Crystal Drive. Mr. Warren, you can start with your 8 minutes and tell us about this property.
Okay. Similar to some previous cases we had earlier in the year, this property, 2345 Crystal Drive, the main evidence that we submitted along with the appeal to the board was a third-party appraisal report from Valbridge. And we do have Mr. Larry Colorito on. I'm going to leave the majority of my time to him to explain and summarize that report. And please feel free to use him as a resource and any questions you have detailing that report. With that, I'll leave it to Larry.
Thanks, Blake. So 2345 Crystal Drive is a 12-story office building constructed in 1988 on a little over 3.8 acres. It's about 500,000 square feet of rentable area. The key thing to understand about this building is that there's a weighted average lease term on the existing rent roll of 1.43 years. So what we have here is a situation where the near-term rollover risk, the risk of the tenant's leases rolling over in the near term is great. And the market has gotten to a point where that is one of the primary determining factors. Weighted average lease term, WALT, W-A-L-T, is often cited in prospectus of buildings that are being listed. And it's a primary determining factor on what buyers and sellers are willing to pay and how they're looking at these buildings. 1.43 years is a very short remaining lease term. When you couple that with a situation that Crystal City has become one of Northern Virginia's riskiest submarkets, and the reason for that, it's not just conjecture, is that vacancy has been in the neighborhood of 25% for the last 3 or 4 years easily. And for Class A buildings, it's even greater than that. The result of that has been rental rates have gone nowhere. They've been, flat to slightly declining over that same time period. So you have a kind of a perfect storm here with this building. The building itself, as of the rent roll, which was the value date that we used was January 1st. That rent roll showed a 45% occupancy physically, but there are 4 tenants who had indicated that they were vacating, and that drops the overall occupancy to 31%. The real issue here, if you look at what the county did versus what we did in the appraisal, goes to what we refer to as below the line adjustments for the lack of stabilized situation. And the county does make some below the line adjustments for the appropriate things: rent loss, tenant improvements, and leasing commissions. The difference is that the county basically uses, and I don't know what this additional rent loss line is, but it's not a great amount. But the county basically looks at it as a year's worth of rent loss, and quite frankly, there's no way they're going to lease up 2/3 to 3/4 of this building in 1 year. We're looking at, based on the data that we have in our report, a 5-year lease up of this building. And so the below the line adjustments, to account for the fact that this building is not stabilized and won't be anytime soon, amounts in excess of $50 million. And then the report pretty much goes into a lot of detail about the support for that. It's not just, something that we pulled out of the air. We've supported it as best we could with market data. So when you deduct $50 million from the stabilized value, $53.7 million from the stabilized value, you come up with a value conclusion of $68.8 million.
Okay. Is that it, Mr. Warren?
Yes, I'm available
yeah.
for questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you both. Mr. Chikas for the county, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, board members. Good morning, Mr. Colorado. Good morning, Mr. Warren. Relying primarily for this case upon page 3, the summary sheet. Again, fairly well surmised by the appellants. I think the board, what we'd like the board to focus upon is if you look at columns G, the department's revision, and column H, the pro forma that came from the fee appraisal, you'll see that the county is actually some $400,000 or so below the NOI projected by the owner's representative. Again, this is a classic case of a difference of opinion and cap rates, and as well surmised, below the line adjustments. Cap rates speak for themselves. Again, the board members have heard this case upon case all year. Again, we have some support documentation in there that does support, while we may be on the low end, we believe the appellants are a bit on the high end. Again, this is a metro adjacent property within a half-mile walking distance. So again, well located. There's support that we'll talk about more next year, but in regards to the proximity to metro, increasing rental rates, at least those that are being asked, if not contracted. And specifically touching upon the below the line adjustments, the board recognizes that we do make annual adjustments because we are an annual assessment going out beyond 1 year, which is essentially the avenue taken by the appellants, would forestall the idea that we look at these every year. January 1st, the real property is assessed to make an adjustment for 5 years, regardless if it's whale, Walt, whatnot. Looking at the weighted average lease term expiry doesn't take into account that, again, we're looking at these annually. So as opposed to making discounted cash flow adjustments or any sort of adjustment that would look out beyond 1 year, we look at these every year, give the opportunity to the owner to ask for redress in regards to a review of assessment, ask for us to look through those that are in tenancy, those that are in occupied versus those that are vacant, and can make adjustments year by year. That being said, again, given that our revision calls for a NOI that's some $400,000 below what was achieved, below what was projected by the owner's agent and representative, given the appropriate amount of below the line adjustments for this property, given the guidelines that are in place, we would leave the board with the idea that based on last year's assessment, this revision calls for a 19% decline in value year over year, well in keeping with what's going on with this property class in this neighborhood. And again, 19% year over year drop in value, which is much more in turn with what's going on at the marketplace, as opposed to the appellant's request for a negative 55% drop in value year over year. We do believe that the county should be confirmed that the revised value of $123,913,500. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. Questions from board members? None? Okay, any final comments, Mr. Chikas?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and Mr. Warren, if you take a minute to wrap up then?
Yeah, Larry, before I let Larry close, just one thing I wanted to point out, and just in regards to where this property is trending. As of the valuation day, this property was 55% vacant. They lost an additional 70,000 square feet of leasable space of tenants that left, 3 tenants that took up 70,000 square feet. And currently this property is 70% vacant. There's no current prospect to backfill that space at that time. So again, it's a property that's historically had some high vacancy, and that's continuing into 2025. Those tenants are gone as of today. Larry, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, with all due respect to the county and the way that they look at things annually, that doesn't mean that you just simply cut off anything that's going to affect the value of the property that isn't going to occur in the next 12 months. The market wouldn't do that, and this is supposed to reflect market value. When you have a situation that that's going to extend beyond the 1 year, the market's going to look at how long that's going to take. So
Okay,
to say that, I think really doesn't reflect market value.
okay, thank you. All right, it's just among the board.
We'll start with your 50 basis points.
Mr. Mendez?
Yeah, I initially looked at this and the NOI that the county was using was much higher than what was in column E or F. So, I kind of went line by line and compared it with the appellant's pro forma, but it looks like the county's using a lower GPI than maybe what they should have. They're applying the 28%, which looks fine to me. The expenses are more than what was reported. So I think I'm okay with the current assessment, believe it or not.
No way. This building hasn't had a new tenant since beginning of 24. It's not leasing up. It's massively empty, and there's no one coming in. And a 500,000 square foot building. I expected you to end up running the numbers, and did not end up running the numbers, but I think it deserves some type of additional reduction. There's no
What
way
did you
1
do?
year. I was thinking we'd end up with the 50 basis points at least on the cap. I did not run it. I'm sorry.
The only reason I didn't run that was because it looks like, in 2022, they had 20% vacancy. So it's not, it's a couple years. Next year, I would probably
Well,
suggest that.
right now, a lot of them, there is move out, but if you look at page 5 and of the rent roll and what's going on and what has gone on, this building's got a problem. I mean, it's a 25-year-old building, and there's no way it's holding this value.
I
in the
agree.
market.
I agree it's not doing well, but typically from what I've seen in the past, we've bumped the cap rate around 60% or more vacancy there, right on the line there. I know they had some people move later on into this year. So I believe Mr. Warren said it's 70% vacant now. So if it's still that way, I would definitely suggest that next year, but just
Right,
based
there's
on
a couple of numbers I'll throw around because
the history.
Mr. Colorado said it was 45, and then more clients had dropped out, bringing it to 31%.
Please look at page 5 and what's going on in this building. I mean, that's just,
Very, Mr.
You
Penrose.
said you're okay with the current?
With the revised,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking, but
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, based on what we did with the, with other properties, the only thing I was just looking at is adjustment on the TIs, but yeah, I don't have any problem with the price assessment the way it is. I think, look at it, like Mr. Chica said, the numbers are just below what they're showing. So, and yeah, I understand that, adjustments that people want to make are for 2 to 3 years or beyond, but, this is a yearly assessment, and we have to do what we've always done, just look, year to year.
I do agree with that, but it's just not, this is not a 150,000 square foot building that's got 60% vacancy. This building's 500,000 square feet. And it's a ghost town. And it's gonna get worse. They haven't had anyone move into this building since beginning of 2024. And they only moved in for a couple of years on a short-term lease. I don't know what's going on with this building. It's just not 25 years old. I don't know. It's keeping them
There's
out.
other properties.
Yeah, it's a
county
lot.
that are that age. Yeah, it's tough. I hear what you're saying and I am sympathetic to it. I'm just not 100% convinced on the appellant's number. I don't believe 68 million.
I don't
value of
either.
the property.
I don't either.
You know, so unfortunately, I feel like the burden of proof is on the appellant. I don't think that they made their case because I don't agree that it's a $68 million property. It probably should be somewhat lower. I don't know what to tag it to. You know, so I would have to go with the revised as well. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Right, so you want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll move that we confirm the county's 2025 revised number of 123,913,500.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion is second by Mr. Penaranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, it's 3-1 without Mr. Yates. The county's revised number of 123,913,500 has been confirmed. Thank you. Okay, the next case, it's all the same players here, RPC 34020-243, 2451 Crystal Drive. Mr. Warren, you can start your 8 minutes on this property.
Correct. This property is known as Crystal Park 5, located 2451 Crystal Drive. It's 1 RPC. Similar to the last property we just discussed, we do have a appraisal report from Valbridge that was uploaded as our main evidence package. And with that, I'll let Larry detail and summarize that report.
Thank you, Blake. 2451 Crystal Drive is a 12-story office building of about 400,000 square feet that was built in 1989 on 4.375 acres. There is the 12th floor is basically storage, and so was excluded from being revenue producing. There is one major tenant that is a holdover on a month-to-month basis. The GSA in Suite 150, Suite 200, and Suite 301. And that tenant is 61,256 square feet. That is in jeopardy there. The weighted average lease term on this building is 6 years, and so is not as much of an issue as it was on the last building, admittedly. At any rate, if you look at the pro forma that we used in comparison to that of the counties, we are, let me make sure I pull this up correctly. Yes. We are similar in, excuse me 1 second. Our net operating income is about $400,000 lower, and we believe the cap rate is that the county used is low. Again, not recognizing the fact that Crystal City, and notwithstanding the location of this building and all the things that the county has brought up in the last time go around, Crystal City itself has been 25% vacant for 3 or 4 years, with little or no movement in lease up across the board, and rents have not gone anywhere. And so we don't believe the cap rate reflects that. And so we are at a value of 114, pardon me. Yes, $114.6 million.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chicas for the county, please.
Yes, ma'am. So again, relying fairly heavily upon page 3, 4, and 5, looking again primarily at the summary sheet. This again is well surmised by the appellants. Very similar location within a half-mile walking distance to Crystal City Metro, but very much the opposite as far as issues with tenancy. As we can see, we will be promoting primarily column G, the revision from the department. The appellants and the department are very much in line with the idea of the property, approximately 16% vacant. So again, not having the same issues as far as tenancy. When we look at column G, top to bottom, and compare that with the appellant's numbers in column H, you can see that the per square foot rate for office is lower than what's projected by the owner. Vacant space approximately $5 lower than what's projected by the owner. Within 16 cents of that projected for the co-working space. 9 cents with that projected with the retail space, but overall, again, approximately $700,000 lower than the projections made by the owner's representative. Again, we use the guideline 18%, which, as the board will note, is approximately 2% higher than what's being actually achieved at the property. Regards to our per square foot rate for operating expenses, we can see that obviously as the building takes on a bit more of tenancy, there's some sort of correlation in regards to the operating expenses needed to maintain that income stream. The county did, of course, look at the actuals being received in 2024 and in the reconstruction, and in fact, increased our projections for per square foot rate for OpEx by approximately 35 cents per square foot. This again is very much in play with the last case in regards to we're very similar NOI. We believe that the county is recognizing the growth, 6%, almost 6% growth NOI for 2023, another approximately 4.7% in 2024. Again, fairly unusual for some of the office properties, specifically in the National Landing region, as noted by the appellant themselves. That's why this property tends to stand out. Again, it's well maintained. Some lobby renovations, amenity renovations over the last few years. Given all of these criteria, we do believe that the county should be recognized and confirm that the revised value of $129,163,100. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions from board members? Okay, Mr. Chikas, any final comments?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Warren, you can take a minute to wrap up. Sir.
I have nothing that Larry, you want to finalize anything or anything else you want to add?
No, I don't have anything further, Blake.
Okay, all right, thank you both. It's just among the board. This one doesn't give me as much angst as the last one. You know, the NOIs are so close, and I mean, if you look at really what the appellant is using for expenses, which is higher than the property's ever seen, you know, I think that's the bulk of the difference right there. So
Yeah, I agree. Expenses and vacancy that we're using, so
It's cap
pretty
rate.
much everything's the same.
all right, we're in agreement. Okay. Then I will move to confirm the reduced to the county's revised number of $129,163,100. Second,
Second.
Mr. Yates. Okay, Mr. Yates, a second. All in favor? I opposed. Okay, that's unanimous. The county's revised number of $129,163,100 has been confirmed. The next case on the agenda is RPC 34020246, also on Crystal Drive. Mr. Warren, you can start with your 8 minutes on this property, sir.
Just to confirm, this is, did you say RPC 34020246, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we did have discussions. These next three parcels are were filed along with the appeals for 2345 and 2451 as the kind of ancillary land parcels that we value as alongside the main office parcels. They were issued own motions after the appeal. Our initial appeal applications did not request changes to those values. All three of these next cases were valued initially at $100 total for the 2025 assessments. following the own motions, this one increased from $100 to $1,206,000. I think we were told, and I had initial conversations with Chris, and I don't want to put words in his mouth though, that the valuations were incorrect and that some of the value was being added on to the main parcel, but with the own motion, it would get reallocated accordingly. Now this one is completely tax exempt, so we don't necessarily have a huge issue with it. But the total land value for 2345 Crystal Drive did increase. So this parcel, which is exempt, went from $100 to 1.2 million. Not the next case, but the last case on the agenda, RPC 34020-264 went from $100, and the own motion changed it to $333,700. And the total land value for 2345 Crystal Drive actually increased from $24,586,200 to $28,905,700. So, I guess, at least for this one, we're a little not understanding of why there was an overall increase in the total land value for all three of these. When I think we're initially told, and I don't want to put words into Chris' mouth, that it was more going to be a reallocation. It was incorrect for these small ancillary land parcels, but that it would be redistributed accordingly through the main parcels as well. So again, this one, it is 100% tax exempt. It doesn't really affect the taxpayer with the own motion change, but that's what we wanted to make the board aware of. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chikas for the county, please.
Yes, ma'am. So primarily we'll be relying on page 5 in this case, which is the internet history. This goes back to January 1, 2016. You can see the value there displayed. Increased in 2020 when the land rates changed from $60 to $65. And then again in 2025, unfortunately, there was an error, in fact, in the valuation last fall, in which case these were brought down to the minimum value that you can see at $100. As Mr. Warren noted, upon review of assessment, when we received these parcels, we noted that in fact they were erroneously valued in the fall of 2024. In preparation for the 2025 reassessment, again, you can see the assessment history there. I believe we've included a what's called the 2025 land value for Crystal Park, which goes over the density changes. Let me just verify that. Yeah, that's on page 7 of 20. So the board can see the breakdown of how that works. But again, the primary issue with these three parcels that you will hear back to back to back is the idea that they were valued erroneously in the fall with the minimus values, and then they're simply being corrected upon review of assessment.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, questions from the board? No?
Sorry.
All right. Mr. Chikas, any final comments?
No, just again, if there are questions, please do refer to page 7. That goes over the lot size, that goes over the square foot rate being applied. And again, it's some $50 or more, $51.60 or so, less than what's being applied to those market properties that are not part of this land density sheet. So again, it's more of a correction from the error made by the county in the fall. Thank you.
And Mr. Warren, if you take a minute to wrap up then.
Yeah, just to reiterate, again, these were filed as part of the appeals for the main parcel of 2345 Crystal Drive. They were initially assessed at $100 a square foot. We filed the appeal for this particular parcel, not requesting a change in value, and for it to be left and remained unchanged at $100. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Okay, it's just among the board. All right.
Just making a correction. Am I right? I mean, it looks like it's coming down year over year. So at least we're on the first case, the first of three. It was 1.3 last year, and they erroneously valued it at 100, and we're just going back and correcting that. So I don't see any issues.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's a lot solid.
Right, I mean, I guess, and just to clarify, so the fourth case is going to 1,206,000, which if I'm understanding from Mr. Warren is tax exempt anyway, so it's actually gonna be nothing. And then the other two, I mean, it's a correction, but I mean, it's going from 100 to 164, 100 to 333, so I guess we've seen this when you open up a case, you open up a case. It's a material fact of being done incorrectly, so I guess it falls within the purview of it can be fixed, so. Right, somebody want to make a motion then?
We are confirming or
Let's,
yes,
Yes, yes.
yeah, go ahead and move that we confirm the value at 1,206,000.
which is actually increase, confirming the revised county number.
Right, but they already revised it for their own motion,
Okay,
so we are.
all right, so second that, all in favor? I oppose. And so, all right, the county is confirmed at the old motion number of 1,206,000 even. And since we're doing all of these, Mr. Warren, on the next one, RPC 340206263, do you have anything additional that you want to add? on
No,
that?
and yeah, and again, we kept these active as well. One, because we had an issue with why 2345, the overall land was increased across all parcels, but 2451, the land allocation adjustment between the main parcel and these other two parcels actually decreased overall. But we did keep them active because we kind of view them as one whole economic unit under the appeal. But I have nothing further on this case or the next case.
Okay. All right, anything additional, Mr. Chicas, that you have?
No, ma'am, just ask the board to refer to the land density sheets if they have any questions, or again, I'm available for questioning. Thank you.
All right, so then on the fifth case, the agreement is lower than the other two, so I want to make the motion.
I move that we confirm the value of this parcel at 164,100.
All right, I'll second, all in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. And then the last case, RPC 340206264. So same issue as above. It's a correction. So do you want to go
Since there's
ahead?
nothing new, that we confirm also the value at 333,700.
I'll second, all in favor? Aye. Is that an aye?
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, that one is confirmed. The revised 2025 on motion of 333,700. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, board. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. All right, has anybody got any other business before the board? Okay, then we will stand adjourned at 9:34. Reconvene next Tuesday, September 30th, virtually for all the members. Thank you.